Trail Joe here with our very first ever actual trail ride video. So we hope to bring you many more of these, but this first one was recorded at Rally on the Rocks 2018. It is the Steel Bender Trail. This was the first trail of the week for us on Tuesday, May 15th. We did have a police escort, so we didn't have to trailer from the Spanish Trail Arena area to the trailhead. The particular trail that we're doing is the longer version of Steel Bender, which is a portion of the loop, which you can do just the loop if you wish and end up back at the exact same starting point, or there's an extension with some additional obstacles that you can do. That drops you out at an entirely different area. We're going to be posting several versions of this video. One will be the full-length video, which is over an hour and a half long, but if you want to see every foot of the trail, that video will show it to you. We will also be posting a more of a highlights video that has a lot of the boring stuff and the items that you're seeing right now kind of cut out. So mainly the obstacles and a couple of scenic shots, but not nearly as much video. We are going to go ahead and speed forward through some of these sections just because we don't want you to have to sit through several hours. We did have over 2.5 hours of ride time on this one. The total time with breaks and everything I think was closer to 4 hours. The trail length is roughly 15.2 miles. Please leave us some feedback in the comments if you like these long full-length versions or if you only prefer to see the highlights. One other thing that we are still working through is some of our video equipment. We have put some gauges down at the bottom of your screen that you'll see during the non-sped up portions of the video. I have left them on this first one, but the others will stabilize some of these sections so they don't look so bumpy. I'm not entirely sure how accurate these numbers are. I think that you can rely on the coordinates and the heading and obviously the time. But some of the pitch, roll, and grade, I'm not 100% positive what is going on with those. The pitch and the roll seem fairly accurate, but occasionally the grade will show a negative number while the pitch shows a positive number. So I've yet to figure out all the ins and outs of some of that data recording. We also were hoping to bring you a ride time as well as a trail length markers, but we've made some errors in the way that we captured the video where they kept on resetting to 0, so we can't present those to you on screen. The Steel Bender Trail is rated at a 7. So this is probably something that you do not want to attempt to ride on your own. We had over 25 cars. I don't know what the total count was, which did make this for a little bit of a longer ride. We don't know everything that happened since it was a fairly long line of cars. We started out towards the front and we kind of migrated throughout the day. A lot of people were jockeying for position, and you'll see some different cars in front of us and behind us at different times. I can say that we actually rolled over on our side on this fairly early on an obstacle. More of a rookie mistake of picking a bad line. Didn't end up injured. We just broke a mirror and scratched some of our paint up. So everybody was very friendly on getting us back on our wheels there. One person did have their vehicle disabled. At least one person did that needed to have their vehicle towed out and towed back later with an actual tow truck. They entirely, what I was told, was cracked the rear differential housing. So I didn't see that myself, and I don't recall what model of vehicle it was on, so sorry for not giving you that information. And I do believe we had one injury. One person believed that they may have broken their wrist when their steering wheel kind of flipped and grabbed on an obstacle that they were going up, and at least sprained their wrist, but possibly broke it. So that's some of the reasons that you shouldn't go on this trail by yourself, for just obvious safety. Even though a lot of these obstacles do have bypasses, many of them do not have bypasses. One of them on one of the harder obstacles had just been shut down, and it looks like it's a permanent shutdown by the BLM, and it was days before the rally began. The trail guides were not even aware of it, as it had not been closed off when they did their pre-ride. Additionally, we were having a little bit of an off day with our vehicle. We had just put on new springs before we came out to the rally, and the couple of days of riding ahead and this trail ended up really breaking in the springs very well, down to the point where we had about 8 inches of clearance in the rear. So we were hitting a lot of rocks that we should have been clearing. Normally we have about 14 inches of clearance in the rear. And we were also really giving a workout to our rocker guards, put some new dents and dings in those. And some of the obstacles challenged us a little bit more since we were dragging our belly over them and didn't have the clearance that we would normally have. Right now you do see there is a Razor S in front of us. I believe it was the only Razor S on the ride. This particular year they set out a new rule on Rally on the Rocks that any 7 rated or higher trails would not allow 50-inch wide machines because of the higher chance of rollover and the more difficult times that they have in getting through some of the higher rated obstacles. A few other rules that were pushed pretty hard were trying to maintain a trail speed of 25 miles per hour or less. That is the official speed on most of these trails. Definitely during the technical sections that wasn't hard, but some of these off-road machines at the longer, straighter desert type sections just feel like they really want to go fast. So it is a little hard, but for safety it is always best to obey the law and follow those rules. A few of the other rules were more basic common sense things, such as stay the trail. Obviously that's something that we want to do, is respect these trails and not make our own paths so that they can stay open. And then just some other basic safety items that I won't cover all of them in detail. So I do hope that you enjoy watching this video. Again, please leave in the comments if you like this full-length video or if it's just simply too long. I have tried to cut out most of the stops and things along those lines, and again did speed up anywhere from 2 to 3 times the speed on some of the less technical sections where you can always pause to see the scenery if you want. Or if you just feel this is simply too long and only want to see the short version. We'll come back during some of the obstacles that we do come upon, as well as at the section that we roll over on, with a few additional comments, but we hope you enjoy watching. here's where I picked a bad line coming up. I didn't see that there's a hole. We dropped our rear driver's side wheel into it, and then our passenger side rear got some traction and spun us around. Is your helmet, you didn't have your helmet strapped on? You didn't have your seatbelt on?
Good?
Yeah, we're good. Are you good, babe?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you get that on GoPro?
See if we could
Oh yeah, both of them.
I think you need to steer hard driver and back up. Straighten out a little bit.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, keep going. Here, let me get this. Okay, go straight back. Straight back. Coming up on one of the first truly challenging obstacles on this course. This one's referred to as the wall. There was an actual bypass to go around this whole section of trail. There used to be a short bypass to the left up here, but now you have to bypass the entire section. If you look at the mini map, there's an area just before where we're at that it looks like we took a hard left. If you go to the right there, it'll bypass this. There are two paths up this obstacle. The first one to the left, which is what you're seeing directly in front of you here, is the harder of the two. It probably really depends a lot upon your machine setup. The longer wheelbase machines walked right up this, so like the 4-seaters and things like that, with no problem at all. Quite a few of the 2-seaters went up it as well, whereas the path to the right, there were several vehicles that had some problems there, and we did have one that ended up breaking their rear differential at this point. I don't know if it was on the obstacle or if it was already damaged from something earlier. We did choose to take the path on the right. My wife was still a little shaken up from the rollover earlier. She's new to a lot of this type of off-roading, was insisting I take the easier paths, which I did try to listen to her advice on most of them. Quite a few people did have some challenges going up this side as well. Next time we go through the trail, we'll take the harder path with our suspension set up a little bit better and higher, so we don't drag over the obstacles quite as much. This path did actually present some pretty good difficulties. I think it was about 5 attempts for the final guide to get through on this. He wanted to take a very particular line and kept sliding off, so you'll see that here in a bit. And we hope you enjoy watching this section in the attempts by the various people. going to go ahead and wrap up part 1 of the video here. I'll just break it into 2 parts, each about 45 minutes long. If you've enjoyed this full-length first half of the video, please be sure and subscribe and let us know in the comments that you do like these longer videos. And stay tuned for part 2, which we'll be publishing a little bit later, as well as a highlights version that cuts out a lot of these longer portions and is just a more heavily edited copy. Hope you have enjoyed again, and hope this helps you on your adventures in Moab.